going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Robert Garcia Unfiltered. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the fights that took place in Phoenix, Arizona this past weekend. Top Rank had a doubleheader, both of them rematches. Rafael Espinoza defended his WBO title against Robeisy Ramirez, and then Vaquero Navarrete defended his WBO title against Oscar Valdez. And it was basically an RGBA stack card. You guys had 5 guys on the undercard. All of them look good. But Top Rank had some of their promising prospects on the card as well, like Steven Navarro and Richard Torres Jr. Before we kick off with the RGBA fighters, do you guys want to touch up on those guys really quick?
Well, Richard Torres is becoming a big name because first of all, because he's an Olympian silver medalist. He's also Mexican American from California, and has an attitude, where people like him, people fall in love with him, people go to see him. You see when he's fighting. I was in the locker room while he was fighting, but every time he's fought, especially there in Phoenix, as he's fought there a couple of times, the crowd gets into his fights, start calling him names, Nacho this, Nacho that. I don't know if it happened this time, but it's most of the same fans. They always go to the fights.
Yeah.
So he's becoming, a star there in Arizona. He's got good character. People like him. He talks to everybody. He says hi to everybody. He comes to our gym and to get some sparring, and always shows nothing but respect, love, and respect. So we're definitely supporting him 100%. I was gonna be supporting him. But yeah, he's just one of those guys, that's always going to be very likable. They're always smiling, never see him in a bad mood. Plus he could fight too. He's fighting. It's obviously the heavyweight division is a very tough division, but Top Rank knows what they're doing. Matchmakers for Top Rank, they match him up pretty well. They're matching him well and making him into a bigger name. So. And down the line in the near future, I think he's capable of competing. I'm not saying of beating because the heavyweight title champions are tough right now, but he's capable of competing and maybe fighting for a world title in the near future. 2-3 years from now, we don't know who the champions are going to be. So maybe he could be one of them. I don't know. But as of right now, I like him. I enjoy his fights. I enjoy his, the week of the fight, him around the hotel, the press conference, the weigh-ins. He's a good character.
Yeah, and the guys, as for the fight itself, his opponent, Misael and Lindolfo, and I think Chepe too. I might be wrong about Chepe, but I know Misael and Lindolfo told us they know him from Mexico. He was in the national team with them. They told us he had a lot of experience. He had a really good record. I know he only had one loss. I don't know if it was a TKO loss, but he only had the one loss. So the fight itself was kind of a step up. Like you said, the top ranked matchmakers have done a great job with them, keeping him at a certain level. But this was a good step up for him, and I thought he looked really good. I think he has a good motor for the heavyweight division. He's active, he's quick, he's a little bit undersized, so he's got to make up for it with speed and footwork and movement and stuff. But I think he's developing nice. I like my dad. I think he has the potential to one day be a world champion. It's tough because of how undersized he is for the heavyweight division. Most of those guys are 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". They're big dudes. So that's gonna be tough. But but I like Richard Torres.
Yeah, we were in the locker room with Lindolfo because that was right before Lindolfo's fight, I think. And we were watching the fight in the room, and Lindolfo said, "Look, that's not an easy fight. I know that guy, and that guy has experience. That guy's tough. That guy gave everybody great fights in the Olympics and that tournament they had when they were almost like semi-pros."
The World Series of Boxing.
I think Lindor said, "No, this guy competed against the best.
He used to be in the World Series of Boxing."
So he's like, this is not going to be easy. And Richard was able to win pretty convincingly, and got the job done. So he's the way top ranks matchmakers are taking him. I think they're doing a great job. I don't even know who his manager is. So whoever the manager
I think it's
is,
just him and his dad. I think that's just his dad.
maybe that's it.
I could be wrong.
They're doing a great job.
After the fight, he was talking to the media and he was saying that he would like to fight with Joe Joyce. What do you think about that fight?
Yeah, that's a good step up fight for him. It's a good name, a good opponent. I think it's a good one. It could be a little challenging too because it's not that easy. Joe is a big, he's a big guy,
strong dude,
a strong
slow
guy,
but strong as fuck.
It's a good fight for for Richard. I think that would be a really good test. So yeah, man, he mentioned it. So yeah, I would like to see it too. That's cool.
What about Steven Navarro? What did you guys think about his performance?
I think that kid is, I think this was only his fifth fight. I think the kid's gonna go places. That kid is very fast, strong. His mentality. He goes in the ring like a champion already. He goes in the ring and looks like a champion. He has everything to become a big a world champion at that division. I can say a big name because those weight divisions hardly anybody ever becomes a big star. Very few have. But yeah, I think he's got the tools, the speed, the power. The attitude also to become a great champion in the near future. He only has 5 fights, and again, Top Rank, they're doing a great job. The matchmakers matching him up with the guys that could fight, but obviously taking care of him. Only with 5 fights, 6 fights now. They're doing a great job. I think the kid is. I think his next fight's probably gonna move up to 8 rounds already and maybe step up to the next level, and he'll pass it because I think the kid is going some places in boxing.
Yeah, and in the smaller weight classes, they move a little bit faster. So I think sooner rather than later, we're gonna see him. I think by the end of next year, he's gonna be by the end of the next year, we're gonna see him in 10 rounders already. He's gonna start getting ranked and stuff. So I think sooner rather than later, we're gonna see him in world title fights.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think the kid has a bright future, and happy for him. They're a great family. His dad, Cook, was a great person, and talking to the mom also. They come from really good family backgrounds, and the story. His dad has a really good story too. Now he's got his son, a professional fighter, and keeping him going too, which is a great story. Gotta respect and support those type of stories.
Alrighty, let's talk about the RGBA fighters. You guys kicked off the night with Cesar Donovan Morales. It was his pro debut. He had a tough task in front of him. He had an undefeated fighter in Kevin Mosquera. The first 2 rounds, clearly Morales. Third round was a little bit closer, depending on what the judges saw. And then unfortunately in the fourth round, Morales got dropped. How crucial was that knockdown, especially since it was only 4 rounds?
Well, look, in a 4-round fight, it's always very, very difficult because you have to win all 3 rounds. Because if you got dropped in 1 round, you have to win all 3 rounds to take the win. If there's one more round that you didn't win, then with a 10-8, it automatically you lose pretty much. You have to win by knockout or win 3 rounds. But there was, I don't know. I'm just, I don't, I don't want to see it sound like, oh, it's because this is my fighter. But I thought he was win. I thought he won the rounds. Even the round where he got dropped, I think
That was probably his best round.
That was his best round. There was moments where the ref actually could have stepped in. He landed some good punches. The mouthpiece flew. That type of fight. But for me, I don't know. Everybody outside of the ring, from top ranked people to media to everybody told us the kid shouldn't have lost. Everybody also told us the ref shouldn't have cut into the knockdown because I think it was a punch that landed behind the head.
It was like a punch and then like a pull too. So that's what made it a little.
It is what it is. It's just a learning experience. That's not the end of this kid's career. I think Donovan has a great bright future. We've seen it in the gym. We told Brad, we told everybody, we told Frank Espinoza, who's the one that took him to me. Said, look, I think this kid's gonna go places. He's turning pro, and he's in my gym sparring with very good fighters and doing really good against them. So I think the kid, this shouldn't be the end. I think he's gonna come back and he's got a bright future.
He was a 3-time national champion, right?
Yeah, he was in the national team in Mexico and everything. So he has a lot of experience and very strong fighter too. But his pro debut, it is what it is. We just have to forget about it and to tell him, look, your next fight is going to be your pro debut. Like, you're getting started. Forget about that loss. Don't even think about that loss. You're turning pro again and go from there. Marquez lost his pro debut.
We had the co-main event, Robeisy Ramirez.
Robeisy Ramirez,
gold medalist, he lost his pro debut.
Fight.
That's recent.
So that doesn't mean that it's over for the kid. It was just a learning experience. I know that I know what he is. I seen it in the gym, sparring, training. He could go places. So we'll come back. I know if Frank Espinoza is able to continue bringing him with top rank, I know Brad and Bruce are going to do the right thing with him. There was also a little bit of difficulty with the opponents because of the experience he has. It was hard finding an opponent. This guy was somebody that came in late that actually Frank Espinoza and the son, they knew who he was, 2-0, but we were kind of, I can't say forced because, but it was like, it's this guy or you're not fighting. So they're like, no, we got to fight. The kid's already here, training already. So they went for it. They said yes. We also said, okay, well, we're here, so let's fight. So it's the way things work out. It was something that, that 2 days before the fight, said, it's either this guy or you're not fighting. So,
Wow.
the kid wanted to fight. The kid was there. So we took the fight.
How did he get into the gym? You said Frank
Frank
Espinoza.
Espinoza. Look, Frank Espinoza, we've known Frank for over 20 years plus, 20 plus years here in Southern California. More than that, maybe more than that, man. But he's always had great fighters, and years ago, maybe 20 years ago, there was a fighter that he brought into the gym to train with us, but never fought under us. Gallito Castillo, I think. I think Gallito Castillo I think his name was Gallito. He was I think, former world champion, but never fought with us. And then there was another one that I can't remember. I told you, Pita. I can't really remember his last name, but we've tried it years ago. But when I started working with Cameron Duncan, I think that's probably what
Most managers kind of stay away from
because they knew I was
new
working with
fighters.
Cameron Duncan, and most of my fighters were with Cameron Duncan in the early 2000s. I'll probably say most of them. I could probably say all of them. All of our fighters were with Cameron Duncan, and that's probably why a lot of other managers were. Oh well, we take them there. They're with Cameron, so you don't know. It happens a lot. Now that I don't work with. If I work with Rick Marigan's never even in the gym. Frank Espinoza, now that he brought in Donovan, came in maybe twice to training camp. Any other manager? Which other managers do we have fighters? Most of them are our fighters.
What's his name? Split T.
Split T has we have like four. We train like 4 or 5 fighters that Split T manages.
Never come to the gym or.
So we run the show. It's our decisions. We call the shots in my gym, and now Frank feels more comfortable, I guess, because of that. But I would have loved to work with Frank 20 years ago because he's had great fighters. He's always brought in some great fighters, great champions, and just like we did with Cameron Duncan, Frank. But hopefully this could be the beginning of maybe more fighters training with us. I'm up for it. Now that he knows the way my gym is, he's been there a couple times, and he doesn't see any other managers, any other trainers over there. It's my gym, it's my fighters, and that's the only thing that comes to my gym. So hopefully, he's a great manager. He's been a great manager for many years. So definitely, I'm up for it. I'm happy that we started working together.
Having a tough opponent like Morales did for his pro debut and not coming out with a victory, I can imagine it taking a big toll on him mentally, and probably not after the fight, but
no, right after the fight.
No, right after the fight. It does happen. No, I didn't because he was the first fight, and I had the first of our fight.
Yeah.
He was the second fight. I had the third and the fourth. So I didn't go to the locker room. I stayed in the arena, in the ring, waiting for the second fight and the third fight. So I didn't see him after that. After that, I went straight to Lindolfo to wrap his hands, and then Chapcha came out to fight. So I didn't see him. I talked to him through messages after.
That was gonna be my question. Yeah.
But no, I didn't see him because I had so many fights that I had to stay in the arena by the ring. But I'm sure it was hard for him, man. I can imagine, man, losing your pro debut, especially the team that he has, the card that he's in.
Expectations, everything.
I'm sure it was hard for him. I didn't see him in the locker room, but I don't know if you did, Pita, but I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, we all talked to him. Everybody there talked to him a little bit. even the fighters, he became good friends with like Chop Chop and some of those guys. So everybody, everybody got a little moment to talk to him. All the coaches, all the fighters, all the parents. We had Giovanni Santillan there, his dad, just everybody in the gym, that was in the locker room because we all shared. They put everybody in one, all our fighters in one locker room. So everybody was there and kind of trying to pick up his spirits because obviously everybody dreams of their pro debut and getting to that moment of finally turning pro and he gets a shot on the top rank card and this and that, and then it goes the way it goes. So, it's a big letdown and, he was pretty, devastated in the locker room. But, afterwards, I think once he kind of settled down, once he calmed down, I think he's really gonna learn from something like this. Cause, in the gym, we saw him doing rounds with, some of the best young guys that we have, guys from other gyms that were coming and sparring. He sparred with fucking everybody. He was doing 6, 8 rounds of sparring, and no, with no problem. And then in the fight, you could tell he kind of got himself a little tired. I think that has a lot to do with like nerves and like you said, the moment of everything of pro debut, top rank show, everything, just everything kind of lining up. So I think from here on out, he's gonna learn from it, and I think he's gonna be a great fighter, man. I don't think we got to see everything that.
Oh, he's gonna be a great fighter. And
I don't
look,
think people got to see what he's really capable of.
right after the fight, Brad told me, man, I like the kid. Tell him, that we're gonna continue working with him because Brad really liked him, and we're seeing the kind of fighter he fought. A guy that was undefeated too, 2-0. I think that guy was an Olympian also. That's what I heard something about him being an Olympian. But even if I heard wrong, he was 2-0, and not a bad fighter either.
Yeah.
So the kid, Donovan did what he had to do. He showed that he's got heart. He's got everything, power, to do what he has to do. So, we'll bring him back. I think the kid has a bright future. And Brad liked him. Brad told me, tell him I liked him, and he's gonna continue working with him. So hopefully that continues, and we'll see where his future goes. But I think he has a bright future.
All right, moving on to Art Barrera Jr. He improves to 7-0, 5 knockouts after stopping Juan Carlos Campos in the final seconds of the second round. He not only stopped his opponent, but the referee also went down. I thought that was pretty funny.
He also dropped the referee.
I thought that was pretty funny.
But he didn't hit the ref.
Yeah, but break down that stoppage. How was he able to be so dominant?
Well, with Art, we already know he has great power. He's got great speed, but we also wanted him. I wanted him to be a little more careful, especially in a fight where he's moving up in weight now, because he's just growing. He's just too big, and he's so young that his body's just growing so fast that we had to move him to the next division, which is now super welterweight. So I the guys are bigger. The guys are going to be bigger, stronger. So I wanted him to test him first in the first round, and he did that. But after that, right away, told him, look, this guy is not in your level, so let's pick it up and let's get him out of here. I did see, maybe because of the weight difference, the few pounds that he had to, I did see him a little bit slower than his previous fights. Not as fast, but it does come with, obviously getting bigger and gaining weight.
Yeah.
But he'll get used to it. It'll take a couple fights for him to get used to the weight division. I think Art is another one that has a bright future. In boxing, nothing is guaranteed, but you do see the ones that have the bright future, and Art is one of them. I hear it from many people in boxing, many reporters, many even other promoters that, man, we would have loved to have Art on. Art's doing good. Congratulations. People that are involved with it that are calling me, man, Art is really looking good, and Art is doing really good. So he is a young prospect that has a bright future. So we just have to continue doing what we're doing, taking him slowly. He's very young. I think just turned 19, so we can't rush him either. There's no rush. He's got
his whole
career ahead of him. So we have to take our time, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna rush him.
What did you think of his performance, Pita?
I thought he looked good. I think Art, he had a tough opponent in front of him, kind of wild, kind of reckless, putting pressure, kind of smothering Art and stuff the first round, but Art was able to counterpunch and start to get his respect. I think Art's best qualities are his counter punching and his power and his speed. Once these guys start to feel his power, even for such a young kid, like, they feel it and you kind of see them start to respect them. Him taking the lead in the action, like, backing guys up and trying to keep himself a little bit busier is gonna be something that's gonna, once he starts to develop that, then you're gonna see like a complete fighter. Right now he's a really good counter puncher. He's got a good left hook. Once he starts adding the other wrinkles, you're gonna see somebody that's gonna be really, really tough to beat. And I think he started to do that. He started to back up his opponent. He got him against the ropes, landed some good body shots, straight right hands. And then got the TKO. But yeah, his opponent I think was like 5-1, 4 knockouts. It wasn't somebody that was just gonna be a walk in the park. So arts developing and stuff. These kind of opponents are what he's gonna need because he wasn't able to knock him out. He got the stoppage, but some of these guys can be able to take a punch, so you're gonna have to like break them down, and I think that's what he did with this one.
This was his 5th time fighting this year. It was supposed to be his 6th. He was supposed to fight on the Munguia undercard, but unfortunately that fight got canceled. Is that the pace that you'd like to see him in this
That was his
upcoming?
fifth one this year.
I think this coming year I would like to do the same. 4 or 5 fights this year is what I need with him. I need him to stay busy every 2-3 months. Definitely, that's my plan. Hopefully, we could get it going with Top Rank. I'm pretty sure Brad and Bruce think the same way. So let's hope we do. We do need to keep him busy. The kid is a young prospect that needs to fight often. So let's hope we could be able to do that.
All right, moving on to the 3rd fighter in the RGBA stable. Giovanni Santillan had a first-round knockout, or technical knockout, sorry, over Frederick Lawson.
That counts as first round or that counts as second round?
That was first round. I saw it on BoxRec.
Okay, but because the bell rang, so it could be the beginning of the second or the end of the first. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, so this was his first fight back after his loss against Brian Norman Jr. This was a pretty tough year for Santillan. Aside from the loss, his first career loss, he also recently lost his brother. What does that say about him to be able to push forward and continue with the fight? Because a lot of fighters wouldn't continue with that.
When a few weeks ago, when I found out about the passing of his brother, right away I called his dad, and obviously they were devastating. The dad was hurting bad, and I really thought, well, he's not gonna fight, which I totally understand. You're only a couple weeks before your fight, and you're going through this, so definitely not gonna fight. So that's what we expected. But come Monday, he showed up to the gym. Never did he wait for us to go cry with him, and no, he went, took care of business, sparred and trained hard, did everything for the weeks remaining before the fight, and told her, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight for my brother now. So that kind of motivated him, motivated us too, because he showed up to the gym. The dad, when I called him, the dad was obviously devastating. It was bad. But come the day, the next Monday to the gym, they came to work. They came to do their job. They didn't show anybody nothing. They didn't want anybody to feel sorry for them. They went there. They did the job, and that made me happy because it's just part of life. It's just the way it is. But yeah, I was happy that he was able to pull it off. And look, he went out there, took care of business. Got that stoppage, and hopefully, I don't know, I'm not the promoter, I'm not the manager, but I told the dad, and I told him, look, you got this first round knockout. Tell your manager so he could work it out with Top Rank. Try to give you 3 fights next year. Fight, tell their first show next year, early summer, and then end of the year, because I think his activity is going to make a big difference. So that's what I told him. Me as a trainer, that's what I would want. I don't know if that's going to happen, because at that level, more likely they fight twice a year, but 3 would be perfect. I would love that to happen.
For him. I interviewed him before the fight, and he was mentioning how he's eager to get back on that winning streak, and once he is back on that winning streak, he would like a rematch with Brian Norman Jr. Is that a possibility in the future?
Well, there is a possibility, but right now at this point, I think Brian Norman is looking at at bigger fights, unifications. I don't think Brian's gonna go back and say, okay, well, let's give him another opportunity. He's looking at unifications, big fights, maybe mandatory challenges. Not because he's afraid or anything. He just obviously became a world champion, and now could unify, could go in there against big names, fights that make him a lot more money. So I don't know how if that will come anytime soon. I think we're better off winning a title in another organization, and then unifying. Then that would call for a good rematch. But there's great champions at welterweight right now. I think a couple more fights, and yeah, we could challenge any of the champions. But I think right now, this next couple of fights, I think we should bring them back, especially with what happened with his brother and everything like that. I think we should bring them back with a couple more fights before anything that big. And if he's to get an opportunity for a world title against any of the other champions, and we're able to win that title, then of course our unification against a rematch, it would actually be a big fight.
It would call the attention.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
would.
I had a question on top of my head right now, but I totally forgot it. Oh man, it was right on top of my head. Anyways,
We'll remember it
continuing. Moving on, Chop Gonzalez. He improves to 12-0, 7 knockouts after unanimous decision victory over Gerardo Perez. In previous fights, we've seen Chop display his offensive skills, but in this fight, he also showed that he can fight defensively and also countering his opponent. Is that something that you guys worked on in the gym with him?
Chop is, he's gonna be showing the world what he really is. He's recently signed with Top Rank, so he has a few fights under Top Rank banner, but a lot of people were still not paying attention because he's still not a name. This time they put him closer to the main card. The crowd was already there, so yeah, so he got the attention from the whole card because he just has that in him. He's got not only the way he throws his combinations, the way he makes the miss, but he also has character. His smile, he kind of catches the attention of everybody in the arena. He's got that in him, and I think very few fighters have that. Very few fighters have that, and he's one of them. I think the way he performed, and it was a tough guy that he fought. Totally dominated, totally beat him. I think that showed that the kid is going in the direction of becoming a
Superstar.
a world champion in the near future, a superstar. Yes.
Yeah, I think I think people are used to him fighting, looking, like you said, just really aggressive and being able to stop his guys because that's what he's done with his fights. But when he has somebody like his opponent who Brad told us, look, this guy is tough. He went the distance with DJ Zamora, who's a big puncher at 130 pounds. We can get him down to like 127 around there.
Yes, 27,
Would you guys be okay with that? And my dad said yes, and the team and everybody we said yes. But the guy could take a good punch, and he was there to win. It wasn't, sometimes when you're on your way up, you get some guys that as soon as you hit them a few times, they go into like defensive, and they're not there to actually win the fight. Does that make sense? Like they're just kind of they're there. Oh shit, this guy's way out of my league. I can't compete with this guy, and then they just go really defensive. This guy was the whole 8 rounds. He was trying to win the fight. He was aggressive. He was throwing. It made Chop show everybody what he could do, counter punching his skills, making a miss, and then some rounds kind of play into the crowd a little bit too. When the crowd would get into it, Chop would get into it a little bit more. He's got that charisma that not a lot of guys have, and he fights with a certain like aggressiveness and flair that draws people's attention. And I think the better his opposition, the better his fights are going to be because he's he's going to be able to display a lot more, and people haven't seen everything that he's capable of. Like you said, they hadn't seen this side of him. We see it in the gym. He's sparring different guys, former world champs, this and that, and we start to see it. We see it in the gym, but people are going to start to see it, come fight night, the better his opponents are. I think his next fight is going to be another 8-rounder. another a good level opponent. You know, people, you know, once if Brad finalizes everything, it'll be another tough opponent, and we're somewhere where he's gonna have to show something different, and people are they're gonna love him, man, because he's a crowd pleaser.
Mhm. Yeah, every fight that he's in, they're very exciting. You know, like you guys were mentioning, the way he carries himself, his charisma. But what do you think is the secret for him to be so exciting?
That's just the way he is.
It's
It's
the way.
natural. It's a natural. Inside and outside of the ring. After the fight, he was all over, all over the arena. Everybody's taking pictures with him. Everybody wants an autograph. That's him. That's his character. He has that in him, and people fall in love with him. Next time he fights, whenever next year Top Rank does another show in Arizona, some people might go just to see him because they want to see Chop Chop. That's what Chop Chop is. I think he's gonna start having a following. His next fight, they told us possibly sometime in March, maybe in Vegas. People are gonna show up to Vegas to go see him fight because that's Chop Chop. Chop Chop is starting to get his own following, not just his family, because he has a big following here in Southern California, here in Moreno Valley. He's got a big following. He does have a big following, but people from different places, people that don't even know, are gonna start following him too because he has that attitude. People fall in love with him. People want to continue seeing him.
I thought it was so cute. There was an 8-year-old fan that he was like a KO Kristy fan, and I was so excited. But I asked him, I was like, "Who are you most excited to see?" And he pointed at his hat. He's like, "Chop Chop." It was a Chop Chop hat. I was like, "What makes him so exciting?" And he was like, "That he gave me the hat." So he met Chop Chop. It was really cool.
Chop's a great kid.
Cool
When just a few weeks ago, a month ago, maybe before Bam's fight, uh, Chop Chop, he's obviously not making a lot of money yet or anything. Bam surprised him with a brand new gear of winning, headgear, gloves, cup, everything, brand new gear. And Chop Chop had his own gear, but Bam surprised him with a brand new gear for no reason, just because they're teammates and they like each other, they help each other, they support each other. And the first thing Chop Chop did is give away his to another kid that needed, to another boxer that needed equipment. So, that's the way he is. He gets something
and he gives back.
and he gives back. Right away gives back. That's the first thing he did. He got them like, oh, he's like, he was so happy. He's like, and then right away. And his dad, George, right away, I've always told my son, when you get, you have to give, because that's the way life is. You have to do that. And the kid has he supports everybody in the gym. He's always supporting. He's always, helping everybody out. Whatever they need, he's there. A ride, whatever, he's there. That's just his attitude. And people are gonna know more and more within his next few fights. They're gonna fall in love with him.
And
Yeah, and then all the kids you mentioned, like we had a lot of the kids that went to the fight. We had a lot of kids from our amateur classes. We had kids from our amateur classes, guys. We have adults that work out that went. They took their kids and stuff. And whenever we got back to the gym, yesterday, and we were at the classes, every kid and everybody says the same thing. They said, "Hey, we went to Chop Chop's fight." Hey, we saw Chop Chop.
They don't say Valdez. They don't say Vaquero's fight.
No, like the kids at the gym went because Chop Chop was fighting. Yeah, we had, like we have we have 5 guys on the card. It's it's big. It's cool. We have a lot of guys on the card. It's a big deal, whatever. The kids go from our gym, they go to see Chop Chop. Like he has something that the kids like to follow. Bam is very similar too. Bam, the kids love Bam. The kids love Bam. Obviously, he's a world champ and this and that. But one of the little kids that went with his dad, they also went. His dad went to Bam's fight. His dad flew with some friends. They flew to Philadelphia and they went to Bam's fight. And then he didn't take his son, but now to Arizona, he took his son. He took his family. So they got to the gym after he's the one that told me. He's like, "Hey, I went to Chop Chop's fight and this and that." I was like, "All right, cool." When he went to Bam's fight, he got back and he was at the gym on Monday. A few days later, he went and got a haircut and he got the same haircut that Bam got. So he told his barber, he's like, "Hey, I want the haircut like Bam." And they're like, "What?" And then he's like, "Yeah, like I want my haircut like Bam." So he's got the little hair going to the front, the split and stuff. He did it. He does it like Bam. Bam and Chop Chop have that similar where the kids like to follow them. Like they attract, that attention and stuff. And it's funny to see because Chop Chop's on his way up. He's an 8 rounder and stuff. And you don't really see that, when they're that young. But Chop Chop's he's got a lot of charisma. A lot of people follow him and stuff. And I'm telling you, the kids at the gym, they fucking love him.
The hair thing just reminded me of Fernando Vargas with
Yeah.
the bang.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, he's fighting 8 rounds. How much more fights do you think it'll take for him to graduate from a prospect to a contender?
I think another fight at 8 rounds, and I think
One more fight at nine, and then we're going to 10s.
yeah, maybe one more, and then straight to
He
10.
went through 8 with no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
You know,
wasn't.
Yeah, no
He
problem
wasn't
at
tired.
all.
He wasn't.
It's
Yeah.
because he fucking spars 10
He's-
rounds, no
trains hard as
problem.
fuck.
He trains hard.
Mhm.
So
He's already
so
back at the gym.
he went 8 with no problem at all. He didn't get tired. So one more 8 rounder, and then we're gonna take him to 10 rounders.
Do you think he's ready for 10 rounds right now?
Then why would we take him to 10 rounds?
Fuck, baby.
Well,
Well, why would we take? Well, we tell you his next fight is there, and then we're gonna go to
10,
10.
but he's not ready for 10s.
Well, why are you asking if he's ready? Then
Come on,
then
baby.
okay. Sorry about that. Anyways, moving on, Lindolfo Delgado, he got a 5th-round TKO victory over Jackson Mariñez. Mariñez used to actually train at RGBA. What do you guys remember about him, and do you think that had any effect into
Look,
Saturday
the
night?
first thing that you
That
could
shit
remember
sucks.
about him is that he got robbed against Rollis Romero. That's the first thing everybody remembers because he got robbed against Rollis Romero. But that's a different story. They had a manager. Adames was the only one that was signed by Top Rank. Then I think Top Rank let him go. So there was nothing going on for them. They were all there. So then I talked to the manager, said, look, I can't have him here anymore. There's nothing for him. There's nothing. So he took him. I told him, they needed to go somewhere else, because honestly, and then I think the manager got into some trouble or something, remember? Something like that. So I told Caballo, what can I do? There's nothing I could do for you guys. Top Rank already dropped, let you go. Good thing is they went to Vegas. They went to Vegas and they got connected with Bob Santos. Bob Santos has a really good relationship with Louis de Cubas, with PBC, and that's where they took him. So they've been active. Caballo became a world champion. He's a WBC champion with them, with Bob. I think Salas was involved. They went to Vegas, so they got involved with Bob Santos, and Bob Santos with Louis de Cubas, and that's PBC. So the career started. Both of started getting fights. They started the other one, the one that fought Tank. What's his name? Garcia, Hector Garcia became champion too. He was also with us, but we had nothing for them. Top Rank wasn't too interested. They dropped Adames, so I couldn't do nothing with them. So that's when they went to Vegas and they got connected with Bob Santos. Adames became world champion. Hector Garcia became world champion. And Jackson was one of them. Then they tell us, oh, this is the opponent. Lindolfo wasn't very happy about it. Honestly, Lindolfo wasn't motivated about it. He didn't really want it. He says, that's our friend. Why do they give us this? Another one of our friends.
Lindolfo's been fighting his fucking friends forever.
Lindolfo's got like four friends.
4 friends, like 4 guys that they go back and say, hey man, like I was his roommate, like in Mexico in the amateur team. I was this. I know this guy since I was a kid. I know this. And then Jackson, who we've sparred a load of times, we lived together.
They lived together in the same house.
That shit sucks.
Yeah, so it sucked. It's honestly, even myself, I wasn't happy that we're fighting Jackson. But when the bell rings, I have to take my fighter to the win. Lindolfo did the same thing after the win. Honestly, I wasn't. I didn't go celebrate because right away I went straight to Jackson and I told them, look, it was just part of our work, part of the job. He told us, I love you guys. You guys were always great to us, and same thing with us. We love you. Because we didn't. It wasn't personal. But Lindolfo looked good. I really believe Jackson was gonna maybe try to box a little bit more, but no, he came to fight, and that was actually a good thing for Lindolfo because he was able to land some good punches. He landed a really good uppercut that stunned him and dropped him, and then the one that knocked him out was a really good body shot. So Lindolfo did his work, but it wasn't one of those fights or wins where we were very happy because of who we beat. It was just it sucked that that fighting the other guys, like the guys from Mexico, I don't care. I don't know them. Lindolfo did, but I didn't. But this time I knew Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson's a great dude, man. Always
We
respect.
knew Pollo. Pollo, we didn't like that one either.
Yeah, but I wasn't there.
Yeah,
And we didn't know him very well either. Jackson lived
cool.
with
And then
us.
they have Raul and shit. So
Yeah, but Jackson lived there with us.
obviously, yeah, that's different. But yeah,
It was a different, way different story.
On our way back from Arizona, you were saying that it might be a little bit tough to get Lindolfo a world title opportunity because the champions at the moment, they're looking to unify or probably fight with big names. What is it going to take for Lindolfo to get an opportunity like that?
yeah, mandatory.
Become a mandatory, and maybe the champion vacates, and we fight for the vacant title, because even if he's the mandatory, Arnold Barbosa has been mandatory for 3 years and he hasn't got a title opportunity. So that doesn't mean the champion's going to fight you if you're number one. Benavidez was number one to fight Canelo for how long? 2 years, and never got that opportunity. So that doesn't mean the organizations are going to force the champion to fight the number one contender. I think it's going to be more where there's another promoter that maybe says, okay, we have an opportunity. Let's try to get Lindolfo, and we get that opportunity and win the title. But it's going to be hard to see that happen. I think it's going to be a mandatory. Maybe the champion vacates, and then we get that opportunity for the vacant title, because any champion also that's right now, obviously not counting Rayo because they're teammates. Any of the other champions, the only one that fights with Top Rank is Teofimo Lopez. But Teofimo's looking at big fights. He's not going to go back and say, oh, just because he's looking so good, I'm going to fight Lindolfo. No, he's challenging himself to fight Boots Ennis, Crawford. He wants those big names. He wants those big fights. So he's not going to do it. The only, if we become mandatory, he vacates, then that's the chance we could get, because there's no other way. I don't think any champion is going to say, okay, let's pick Lindolfo let's call Top Rank. Hey, let's give, because the other ones are not even with Top Rank. So they're not going to say,
It's
hey,
gonna be
let's just pick Lindolfo and go tell Top Rank, let's do a fight with Lindolfo. They're not going to do that.
Who do you think Lindolfo has to be in order to become a big name?
I don't think there's anybody you could say, oh, this guy or that guy, because not a single person is gonna make him the mandatory for anybody. He's gonna have to, like my dad said, hope to get a vacant title, or he becomes a mandatory for like the IBF, because the IBF is a little bit more strict. They actually follow the rules where you do one voluntary defense, then you get your mandatory within a certain time, and they actually do stuff. So maybe the IBF route, the WBO, if Delfimo vacates, Arnold and what's his name and Catterall are probably going to be fighting soon, and they're 1 and 2 for the WBO. Maybe one of them wins it. Lindolfo, becomes mandatory for that. Like there's ways, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. And Lindolfo just has to keep winning, in order for him to finally get that shot, because it's tough. Everybody's looking for the biggest fights. Nobody has to give Lindolfo an opportunity if they don't, they have bigger plans and stuff. So yeah, that's the way it is.
Then they're going to see it's a risky fight. So why would we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the co-main event. Rafael Espinoza retains his WBO belt after Robeisy Ramirez decided that he couldn't continue in the 6th round. They were saying that he was seen that he had double vision caused by an elbow. I think it was in the 4th or in the 5th round. But if that was the case, wouldn't it be a smarter decision to go to the scorecards after the 4th round?
See, the thing is that the ref didn't call it
a special.
The ref didn't call it a headbutt, but I know there was a rematch. I want a replay, because I stayed for the rules meeting, and they said for the championship fights they would have a replay rule. So the ref actually did warn.
He warned them, so they should have done it.
They should have. Look, you even seen it. You even seen that elbow. That's what caused it. Let's stop the fight and go to the scorecards. But they didn't. The fighter letting the fighter go out there and just take that it wasn't even a hard punch. Just and give up like that. It just made it look bad. It's gonna be hard for him, and he's very talented. So a couple wins, he'll be back. But it did make him look really bad. I think, especially when he was complaining to the ref about the elbows. The ref did warn Divino about the elbows. The corner should have said, "Hey, my fighter can't continue because of those elbows. Maybe hope that they go to the scorecards. And he was ahead. If they would have stopped it in the 5th round, he was ahead on the judges. He would have won the fight. They let him go and let him. I don't think the corner knew he was going to make that decision to just give up like that, because he did give up. Whatever. Oh yeah, his eye. Double vision. Shit, fighters fight for years with double vision. Shit, that's very common in fighters. Yeah, he take. Fighters fight with broken jaws.
There's been fighters that have fought with the fractured orbital bone.
Exactly.
Inoue, when he fought Nonito, he fractured his orbital bone like early in the fight. He fought
Wasn't gonna quit. You think
round
Nonito was gonna say,
like that.
"That's it, I'm done"?
Inoue did. Inoue had a
No,
fracture.
he was gonna say, "That's it, I'm done." No,
Fractured jaws in the main event. Oscar Valdez in the main event. Oscar Valdez in the first fight with Navarrete. Did you see how big his eye was? How he continued. Other ones that I can think of are Valdez, a fractured jaw. Bam, a fractured jaw. Morales, remember when he fought Maidana in the first round, how big his eye got swollen? He didn't have double vision. He couldn't fucking see out of his eye. That shit was shut. And he still fought and gave a great fight. So it looks bad on Robeisy Ramirez. The corner might have been able to do something like my dad said, because they had been warned about elbows. And there's a lot of video circulating. It looks like there was contact, but there's contact like with your head. Sometimes you get in on the inside, and sometimes your head rubs against somebody. That doesn't mean that caused an accident. There was nothing definitive that you could see and say, oh, that elbow right there. I've seen a bunch of videos on social media, and I don't think any one video I'm like, oh yeah, that was it right there. I don't think so. So it just
it wasn't, because there wasn't.
There
But
wasn't.
at least it's in the corner. At least
The corner should have done
one
it.
making that decision. Well, we're still gonna stop it because we don't want to risk our fighter. And okay, and they win. They lose by technical knockout, but not the way he did it. The bell rings. He gets touched by a right hand, and he gives up. That's what made it look bad. I think the corner should have stopped it, with arguing that maybe they could, if they get lucky, they go to the scorecards. But if not, still stop it. Technical knockout, lost, but not the way he did it. The way he did it was bad. It was a no mas, and he's gonna have to come back, and it's not gonna be easy.
I'm gonna ask this question that Timothy Bradley asked on the ESPN broadcast, and I want to get your guys' opinion on it. But if the roles were switched, do you think that Espinoza would have waved off the fight?
Of course not. He was fighting with a broken ankle his last fight.
Last fight where he fucked up his ankle when he got dropped, and he fought the whole fight like that.
Yeah, you don't know, he wouldn't have. Of course not.
Never.
Of course not.
None of from the four main guys, none of the three Mexican guys would have quit. Valdez has already did it. He did it the last fight. He did it when he fractured where he fractured his jaw. You think Navarrete is gonna quit? With some shit like that? That fucking crazy ass motherfucker. Nah, that's not happening to those guys.
Those guys are not gonna quit. That's why they chose boxing. They're fighting.
Yeah.
Go fucking ride a bike. Go play volleyball.
Something else.
Hey, we've had some injuries with bikes. That's just dangerous too.
Oh, that's right too. Yeah. Don't ride bikes. No, not boxers. Not boxers.
After the fight, Divino was saying that he wants to become a legend in the sport, and he's willing to fight anybody. Who would you guys like to see him fight next?
Navarrete.
No, I don't think he should move up to 130 yet. I think, because I talked to him, he has no problem making 126. So stay at 126. Unify those belts and wait for Inui. Because look, if he moves up, he has no problem making 126. I know he has no problem. They might want him to, but he shouldn't. Why? He's already worth good money. His fights are going to be worth a lot of money. Get those unification fights. Leo,
Nick Ball.
All guy, or
imagine Nick Ball 6'1".
Oh my God. God damn. Imagine that shit. Okay.
That would be so funny.
Or the other one, Vargas is the champion, right?
Yeah, Rey Vargas.
Rey? And isn't
what's no, is it Brandon Figueroa's fighting for the title?
Oh, that's right. Okay, see. Well, get some unifications, get some
he beats everybody.
Huh?
I think he beats everybody at 126.
Exactly. So dominate the featherweight division, become a bigger star, because he already is a big star. Become a bigger star and wait for Inui. Sooner than later, Inui is gonna move up. And he doesn't struggle to make 126. So
he's big, he's huge for the weight class, but he's really skinny. I think people don't understand. Like that
struggle. So wait for Inui. It's a way bigger fight than going up there to fighting Navarrete. And he's taking probably the same or more risk, because Navarrete is a fucking dangerous, awkward style that's
Big
going to be
fight.
difficult.
Yeah.
So stay at 126, defend your title, unify if possible, make good money. He's not going to make less than what he made in his last fight, and it was a decent payday. So he's going to continue making money. Wait for Inouye. Inouye, within a year, he'll be at featherweight.
I just say Navarrete because I could just imagine how badass that fight's going to be. Me as a
Yeah.
fan, I
For
would
us
love to
as
see that.
fans, it would be a badass fight, but he doesn't do that.
No, yeah.
Navarrete's going to fight Shocky Foster.
You think so?
I think so. It's a unification. I think Shocky was there. He wants it.
He wanted the winner.
He wants it. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think Divino stays a featherweight, should stay a featherweight, and unify or defend.
But the thing is that's the problem. See, they're gonna make. You just said that Arnold Barbosa, who was with Top Rank, was Teofimo's mandatory forever, and never got a shot. I bet you Bruce Carrington is gonna get a shot at that featherweight title really quick. Bruce Carrington just became the number one, or he's been the number one. If Divino stays, they're gonna make him fight Bruce Carrington before he goes to a unification fight. That's the problem. That's the problem.
The problem.
Yeah, but the problem is, what are the biggest fights available for Divino? Like we were just talking about. You think Divino wants to fight a mandatory guy, or you think he wants?
He already is, but he already is. No, but Bruce Carrington is number one in the WBC.
WBO too.
Is it? I don't know. I thought it was WBC only.
Bruce Carrington was there too. You said,
Shocky
Foster.
And you don't think
I'm not saying he doesn't beat him. I'm saying we're saying what he should do, but in reality, the way Top Rank works with the WBO.
Yeah.
They're
going to force them to fight.
We're going to make them fight Bruce Carrington, which
but they couldn't force.
They couldn't force Teofimo. Yeah. I bet you they're going to get Keyshawn a shot at the WBO title. You know, it's already been rumored, and he's going to fight WBO, but they can't get Arnold Barbosa a title fight. You know, we're talking about Lindolfo. They can't force other guys, but when it's one of their favorites, they can force them to do it. Yeah, that's the way Top Rank works with the WBO. That's the way they work, and that's the truth. But he deserves a unification fight. He should be able to have the freedom. How come Teofimo doesn't have to fight his number one challenger? But if Bruce Carrington and Top Rank say, oh, he's gonna fight Ramirez, I bet you they don't let Espinoza. They don't let Espinoza go and choose. No, I'm gonna go do a unification fight because that's what I want to. I bet you the WBO and Top Rank don't let him do that. And he's
but I think he still want to win.
Yeah, but he deserves unification fights. He deserves bigger fights. He shouldn't be fighting his mandatory.
No, but I understand your point, and I think
he just did. I think isn't Robeisy technically a mandatory because they fought once and he came back or whatever. I don't know exactly how it worked or how well ranked Robeisy was or whatever, but he did 2 defenses already where he fought Chirino and he fought this guy. He deserves a unification fight. I think he should fight Angelo Leo. He deserves
a unification, and if not, a couple just regular title defenses because he already did a mandatory. Robeisy was a mandatory.
So I think he deserves them. I think he deserves unifications. But the way Top Ranks works with the WBO, we're gonna start hearing, Bruce Carrington versus.
Well, I think he should beat Bruce.
Yeah, I think he'll fuck him up too. But it's just it's just funny.
Okay, and he's still gonna get paid well, and he's still gonna keep fighting and defend his title and unify if possible, and just wait for Inouye. Huge fight.
I would like to see him wait for Inouye.
Huge fight, huh?
Who would you favor in that fight?
I wouldn't be easy for Inouye because this fucker's tall and he's also strong. Inouye got dropped already.
Yeah.
I think 126. I think 126 is the division where Inouye is gonna have the toughest. I think 122 was fairly easy for him. We're gonna see him there for probably another year. Rumor is he's fighting. He's fighting in a couple weeks. But then rumor is he's fighting. They said sometime early next year in Vegas he might be fighting Picasso. Then setting up a fight with Junto at 122. I think if he beats Junto, beats Picasso, we see him at featherweight. So probably by the end of next year, we'll see him at featherweight, and that's gonna be the toughest division for him because he's just moving. Like, you know what I mean? These featherweights, there's some strong motherfuckers. There's some big.
Can hold at 126. I recommend him to do it. Wait for Inouye.
Yeah, Inouye weighs 122 fight night. How much do you think he rehydrates for the next day? 12 pounds, somewhere around there. 10 12. So he goes into the ring 132 around there. I'm guessing right now, he's not the biggest dude. Divino goes into the ring at 144. Divino goes into the ring at 100. That's what they said, 144 pounds. That's a big difference, 10 pounds.
It would be a badass fight because Divino has a long jab, hits hard. I don't think it's an easy fight, but it would be a badass fight. That's why I say Divino, wait, stay at 126, forget what they're gonna tout, oh, look, you could go and fight Navarrete. Yeah, it's a big fucking fight for top rank. It's a huge fight for Beltran. But no, stay at 126 and
Anyway,
for Inoue.
that would be
Because
good.
that's a bigger fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then move up in weight.
Yeah.
Then go after Navarrete if Navarrete's still around.
Japan versus Mexico.
That's a huge fight.
All right, talking about Navarrete, let's move on to him. He retained his WBO title after knocking out Oscar Valdez. He proved his dominance since the opening round. He dropped him in the first, fourth, and in the sixth round. Do you guys believe that first knockdown had an effect on Valdez mentally?
No.
No?
Valdez is not that type of fighter that's gonna knockdown's gonna affect him. He's been dropped before. That doesn't affect him. No, it was just Navarrete was too fucking strong and a fucking wild punching guy that everybody's gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
Fucking Navarrete is fucking dying to make weight. We seen him at the weigh-ins. He looked bad. And I, and everybody's seen it. It's not like I'm just, I'm not gonna say like, oh, something that I should it should have been a secret. No, because I talked to him too. I said, hey, how you
Struggled
feel?
to make 135 his last fight.
Yeah. How you feeling, champ? I feel like shit. I feel really bad. But you know how it is. But I'll get back. He wasn't doing too good after he weighed in either.
Yeah.
He wasn't. Then he still fights. He doesn't give a fuck. That's just the way he is. That's him.
Yeah.
He fucking goes out there, drinks. I bet you he drank a couple Coca-Colas after the weigh-in and having dinner. I'll bet you he drank some soda. He fucking ate ice cream. He doesn't give a fuck. And I'll bet you Valdez took care of himself and prepared.
It's the style. It's just
That's the difference.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's just a fucking beast, and it's gonna be hard because his style. He's got power. He's got a heart. He's not gonna let somebody go out there and punk him. Fuck no.
Valdez. He's shown it multiple times. He's a bad motherfucker. He's not afraid. Something like a knockdown isn't gonna he's gonna be like, oh shit, I gotta be careful. Valdez don't give a shit. It's just the awkward style, the size difference. You could tell there, like one guy's just way bigger than the other one. The way he moves, the awkward angles, the awkward, uppercuts from a long distance, and he throws in a step around while he's stepping, he's throwing all awkward, and just you can't prepare for it's hard to prepare for it. And then Valdez doesn't have the size. So Valdez doesn't have any like physical advantages over Navarrete in pretty much anything, like maybe speed, but he's not so fast that he could move. Like the dude's bigger, longer reach, bigger puncher, just all this stuff that Valdez is just like it's hard. Like they could fight 10 times and Valdez might be able to beat him once out of the 10. Like it's just the style, you know what I mean? It's bad for Valdez. It's not something that where he can look good, trying to fight this guy. He's just fucking weird, man. It's a difficult
his style. He's very effective. Why would he change something like that? Why would he even change? That's his style. That's I think I don't want to say something that probably didn't, but I think I heard after in the interview, I think Bernardo asked him something when he switched to southpaw. I don't even think he knew he was fighting out the southpaw stance. Oh, when you were effective when you turned southpaw. I don't think Navarrete knew he was fucking southpaw.
He's just having fun in there.
He just goes there and fucking throws punches, and then his right foot goes to the front, his left foot goes to the front, and throws that left uppercut as a southpaw and lands and fucking hurts his opponent. I don't think he knew he was a southpaw. I was waiting for him. I didn't even know I switched. You know what I mean? That's the way I think. That's his style.
Yeah.
That's his style, and it's very fucking effective.
Yeah, that's the thing that people see him fight. And the automatic thing is, goddamn, that guy's horrible. How's your world champ? He's a bad motherfucker. That's like his style is effective. The amount of good fighters that he's been able to beat in different ways, and like he's effective. Like you can say it's unorthodox, it's weird, it's different, but it's super effective. He's a great fighter. People need to start kind of respecting him a little bit more because it looks ugly, and you're like, what the hell is he doing? Like my dad said, but he's
the fight before the 135-pound fight when he fights someone from Canada or something, or
what?
He fights some guy from Australia or
Liam Wilson.
He got dropped, right?
Yeah, he got dropped. He got hurt.
Okay, we're watching the fight with some boxing people there. and we're watching at his time. We're like, fuck, man, look at, and he's so fucking effective. The people that were there, big, people that know boxing. One of them played a joke. He's like, I'll bet you he's hitting the bag and he misses the bag too.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way he fights.
Yeah.
That's just the way he fights. But motherfucker gets his work done, and his team, they're doing a great job, man. They get him in shape. He has a great heart, fucking great power. Fucking good for them, man. They're doing great. 'Cause one of the coaches, Mikey fought that coach.
Yeah.
Do you think any fighter in that division has any chance of him?
At 130?
Mhm.
Who's at 130? Who's the top 130 pounders?
Shockey Foster has the
WBC.
WBC.
Well, Consecao almost beat him. It was a draw.
Yeah, that was a close fight.
Consecao also has an awkward style. That's why. That's where he had problems, because Consecao also has an awkward style. So two awkward styles kind of make it difficult for both. That's what happened with Consecao.
Besides that one, anyone come to mind, Pita?
I think he beats the other champs. I mean, it's hard to say because like you just said, someone like Conceição gave him problems too, but he's got a long reach and stuff too. Like you have to have physical advantages. I think on 130, I think he beats everybody. I don't think I would favor anybody against him.
I think Valdez, if he's got anything left, if he wants to continue, I don't know. Consider maybe dropping to 126 if he could make it.
I don't think so. I think Valdez could do good against I think Valdez would do better against like Oshaki Foster. I think Valdez would do better against some of the other guys. I think it's just Navarrete. It's just like
you don't think he'll do good
against how do you prepare for that? Huh?
You think he'll do good against Angelo Leo?
Valdez? Yeah, but at 126, I don't know if he can make 126.
Maybe he moved up to 130 because he just wants more divisions and
the WBA champ is Lamont Roach, but he's moving up in weight to fight Tank. I would favor Navarrete over Lamont Roach. I would favor Navarrete over Oshaki Foster. Who has the IBF title? I can't even think of that off the top of my head. But yeah, like, it's just like, how do you prepare for that guy? Who do you bring in to spar like to begin with? Who's your sparring partners? Who are your sparring partners? What punches do you throw at him? Like, be careful with this. Like this fucking uppercut from across the ring. Like, be careful with that shit. Like. It's
and at the same time that overhand right is already landing.
It's already hitting you. He's already turning you and hitting you fucking on the side of the head and like fuck. But it's tight though. I like Navarrete. I would like to see him against Espinoza.
Okay.
I have no idea who the fuck that is.
He's from England. Yeah, he has the IBF.
That's the IBF? He's from England?
Yeah.
Oh, he's fighting Eduardo Nunez. He's fighting Sugar Nunez. Yeah, I know who he is.
That's like 15 knockouts or 15-1 with 15 knockouts. I think they lo traen los Arces.
Yeah.
No, the Arces, the Montiels. Montiels have them. Yeah, that's good. He fighted the step up.
I take Navarrete over everybody.
Over everyone?
I think so too.
Right now you were mentioning that you don't know if Valdez is going to continue or you don't know what he's going to do. Do you think we're seeing a drift in his career?
He's up there in age already. He's up there in age already.
Yeah, he's a journeyman. He's
accomplished a lot, man.
He could still fight some more if he wants. But I don't know, me, I would probably say if you could make 126, go down to 126. If you could. Well, maybe not Rafa, because Rafa's just too tall.
Yeah, that's true. It's another fucking big ass motherfucker.
No, but yeah, at 126, that's probably I would probably advise him that, but I don't know I don't know if he moved up to 130 because he can't make 126 anymore. It's possible.
Alrighty, well, that was it for that card. I know Matchroom had a card in Puerto Rico. Liam Parro fought Richardson Hitchens. Richardson Hitchens became the new champion. I didn't watch this fight. Do you guys have any comments on that?
I had no interest in that fight either. I seen some of those on social media, some of those videos and stuff, and I kind of wanted him to get his ass kicked. He kind of annoyed me. I don't know.
Wait, who annoyed you, Liam?
Richardson, whatever, Hitchens or whatever his name is, because he was trying to pull the belt and shit like that.
Oh.
Kind of don't like that. I don't know.
Did you watch it, Pita?
I was in the arena watching some of it because I had some money on.
I didn't see none of that.
I won't say who, but I bet some money on one of them, and so I was watching.
You're not happy to see
it. Boring. We've seen Hitchens fight before. You know what I mean? And I'm the worst kind of guy to watch something like that and appreciate it. I don't appreciate that fighting style. So, like he won. He controlled the distance, controlled the ring, and took his jab. He fought a good game plan, but I'm not the guy that appreciates that kind of fighting. So the next time Richardson Hitchens fight, I will not be tuning in to watch.
Let's
So
fight a big name.
what big name wants to step in the ring to against somebody like that?
Well, no, I'm just
That's
saying,
the problem. Like I like fucking knockouts. I like Navarrete. Give me give me Navarrete. Give me Navarrete 10 times out of 10. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what I want to see. Give me Espinoza, give me Valdez, give me those guys. It's a personal preference. There's nothing against him. He's a great fighter. Leon Pardo is a great fighter.
I didn't even see the fight when he fought that Argentinian.
He lost. I thought he lost. But
Yeah,
either way,
but I never seen him fight.
yeah. So he lost that fight. I thought he did, but he
That
came
was
back and he just beat
Yeah,
Liam
that
Paro. He
part.
just became world champ. He just became world champ. So you got to give him his respect as a fighter. Like he's a good fighter. He's a really good fighter. Liam Paro looked sensational against Subriel Matias. Looked great against Subriel Matias. And then Richardson Hitchens able to dominate, control him the way he did. He's a great fighter. Just again, I'm not the guy. That's not what I like to watch. So
Alrighty, well, thank you guys for watching
we were
this.
gonna there were some upsets on the undercard that we were gonna bring up too.
Oh, yeah.
And then the topic of that happening, it got a lot of talk and stuff on social media where it was Jaleel Hackett or Jahai Hackett, Jaleel Hackett, I think it is. No, Jahai Tucker is the one with Top Rank. Jaleel Hackett lost, one of Top Rank's undefeated. I mean, Matchroom's undefeated guys. Mark Castro lost, another undefeated Matchroom. Um, a lot of people will see that and they automatically say like, "Damn, their matchmakers suck," or this or that. But like Eddie Hearn said, if you don't beat those guys, like then you're not what we expected you to be. Mark Castro, I don't Jaleel Hackett, or I might be messing up his first name, but I know his last name Hackett. Um, I don't know him too well. I don't, he's from,
Oh,
from the East Coast or something like that, but he's also undefeated. He lost. Mark Castro's from California, so we know Mark. He spent a lot of time in the gym sparring for this camp and stuff. There was a lot of buzz around him when he turned pro. And you saw the way Eddie talked about him and said, you know what? Then Mark might just not be that good. And he's right. Like Eddie Hearn is right. When guys lose, convincingly the way they lost, and Mark has had fights where he doesn't look that great and he struggled with some guys. And I just don't think his style has worked well for him as a pro. I don't really think he knows what a style is because sometimes he's trying to box and you see the videos of him, the head movement and this and that, all that stuff. And then he goes out and he's a volume puncher one round and then the next round this. I just don't think he knows exactly what he's doing, what his style is, and it just hasn't developed as a pro. And I think Eddie Hearn is right. I think our matchmaker is going to put you in. They're making a lot of money. They're making good money already. I don't know how much Mark makes, but I'm sure he's making good money. So you have to fight a certain level of opposition when you get to a certain point. And if you can't beat those guys, then guess what? You're just not at the level that we thought you were going to be. And
Eddie did put up a
Eddie
video
Hearn was
saying
100% correct right there. There comes a time where it's put up or shut up. Like, yeah, you're earning the money that you're earning, and it's well earned, but because you're making this, there comes a point where, okay, now show us why we're giving you this kind of money. Show us why we've invested so much in you, and he couldn't do it. So, it's just the way boxing is. Like it happens.
it
Man,
is true.
I need to catch up on those fights. I haven't had time to.
Yeah, I watched most of them. Like I said though, as soon as our fights ended, I went to go sit down to watch the Espinoza and Ramirez. But there was like a break. There was a long break while they were waiting for college football, I think 10. So I was on my phone. I was watching Richardson, Hitchens, and Pato. And then when I got home, I went back and watched, I didn't watch all the fights, but I watched some of them. I skipped through a lot of them. But like the Mark Castro fight I saw and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I think they're great. I think that's what Eddie Hearn and them do because we've talked about it. That's like we have a fighter that was 18 years old, had just turned 18 years old, fought a couple times on our shows, the local shows that we were doing last year. and then or 2 years ago, and then it was time to we started getting like attention from these guys and that guy and stuff, and somebody at Matchroom did say when my dad was like negotiating about signing him and this and that, they asked, will he be ready for a world title fight in 10 fights? And my dad was like, what the fuck? This kid's 18 years old. Like, so they have their kind of style of what they're doing is they pay good, we're gonna do this, but we're gonna move you fast and we're gonna see if you're the real deal or not sooner rather than later. As opposed to you get Top Rank who's a little bit slower build, and they invest more time into them. Or Matchroom is like, yeah, okay, we're gonna pay you good and we're gonna invest time, but sooner rather than later, we're gonna test you and we're gonna see if you're the real deal. And if you're not, then boom. Because they're really busy. They have fucking world champs they're signing guys left and right, and they got Shakur, Duran, Bam, Anthony Joshua. Like they have a shitload of guys. They got a bunch of fighters, and they kind of maybe have the idea of we don't have the time to be dealing with developing slowly the way Top Rank does it. Top Rank's been doing it, so they just have different styles of doing it, and I think it's cool. I don't see a problem with it. With the amount of money they're making, then shit, fuck, you better be fighting.
Each style is more.
Each promoter's different.
The promoters are different. Some fighters are ready for their 10th fight to fight for a world title, but a lot of them are not. So
Yeah,
depends
that's true.
who the fighter is.
Mhm.
A lot of guys develop physically a lot faster than other ones. You saw Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Bam. A lot of these guys become world champs really young. That doesn't mean everybody could do it. That doesn't mean everybody's ready to do that. If you have a kid like Bam, and when Bam was turned pro at 17, and if Matchroom would have said, "We'll sign this kid. Is he going to be ready for world title in 10 fights?" We would have said, "Fuck yeah, he is," and then let's go. But there's other fighters and stuff that still have to be developed and take your time with them. So there's certain guys that can do it, some guys that can't. And Mark has actually been developed a lot slower than a lot of these other guys. It wasn't like they threw him in there, sink or swim right away. It's just he just couldn't compete with that guy from Argentina.
Mhm. Alrighty, guys. Well, that was it for this episode. I went to the Top Rank event, so I thought this was pretty cool. It was a full circle moment for me. The very first fight that I covered was Emanuel Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez. So now it was like a full circle moment to be able to cover the rematch. So I got some interviews up on my YouTube channel. So go to KO Kristy and check them out. Like,
Link
subscribe.
in the bio.
Yeah, Pita will put it in the bio. But yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, and then leave your comments below. And we'll see you guys next time.